Is everybody here?
Good morning.
Good morning, Ray.
Morning.
I'm driving to a job site, so I'll be listening, but I won't be, unless I have something, I won't be joining in.
Cool. Thanks for the heads up.
Oh, pretty agenda.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yes.
We will wait probably just 1 or 2 more minutes and let a few additional partnership members join, and then we will get started with a round of introductions, just to keep everyone familiar with who's in the meeting. We've got a full agenda in just about an hour of your time, and we want to be thoughtful and be sure to end right at 10:30. So we will get started here in just a minute.
Someone has a loud clock. I can hear the seconds ticking.
It's the alligator from Hook.
My husband is a clock collector. He had to change 42 clocks when the time changes. So it's probably my house.
Wow. God bless you, Lynn. That's your
I know. What can I say?
That's amazing.
So we are just a few minutes past 9:30. So I think in the interest of time and sticking to our agenda, we should go ahead and dive in. And Nikki will be recording this meeting. We are going to have the meetings available for partnership members that are not available to join. So just a note for all of you that the meeting is being recorded and will be posted for partnership use. We're going to start with just a quick round of introductions. We want to make sure that as we work together, we build relationships and get to know each other, a really important role of the partnership. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of round robin around the room. So if you'll introduce yourself and share your role in the industry, and if you have any extra notes to share about your work with the partnership in the past, that's really helpful as Nikki and I are getting settled into our role. So again, your name, your role in the industry, and then if you've had a role in this partnership. And then after you've finished your introduction, if you want to call in another member of the group that's here in the room, we'll kind of round robin around the room, and we'll make sure everybody gets called on as well. So quickly, just to remind you, my name is Amanda Miller, and I own the Place Setting Company and get to work with Nikki. So we are your new support team. So we're supporting Josh and other leaders, keeping projects moving forward and staying on task with all things partnership related. So thrilled to be here with you all. I'm going to pass it along to Kat for her introduction.
Thanks so much. I'm Kat Plaza, and I am a statewide registered apprenticeship consultant. So my role is to grow and expand registered apprenticeship opportunities. And what that means here is that if you're looking at creating a registered, signing up with a TCIA or a registered apprenticeship, I can help you streamline that process with the USDOL. And James.
James, me, hi. Jim Skira, I'm the former executive director of ISA. My role in the tree care partnership, sector partnership is basically volunteer, helping out. I have many contacts, and I was involved with the original development of the apprenticeship program with Ron Zilmer at Wisconsin Mid-State Tech College. And, help move that along with TCIA to get it to fruition. So I retired in 2017, but this is what I'm sticking around in the industry for, to kind of help make sure this continues on, because I know in celebration of Earth Day, we need more arborists to help with all the trees that are being planted today. And let's see, I'll call out Josh. There we go.
All right. Hey, thanks, Jim. Josh Moran. I'm the acting chair of the Tree Care Sector Partnership. I've been involved with it since the get-go, from signing the grant to form it, and really, also teach as some of the classes to the apprentices. So those are some of the ways I'm involved. I also own and run We Love Trees. I used to co-own and run Tadican Tree Company, which we were, I think, the second company in Colorado to implement registered apprenticeship. Hey, what better way, just like Jim said, to be celebrating Earth Day than to come together to try to connect people with meaningful work, on our planet. So I'm glad we're getting together today. It feels like a good thing to do. And I am going to call on Nikki.
Good morning and happy Earth Day. I am on Amanda's team at the Place Setting Company and very excited to help support the Tree Care Sector Partnership. We are learning a lot in this first month or so that we've been on board, and excited to learn more and keep partnering with you guys. Sorry, I forgot to pass the baton. Let's go to Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn Vossler, Executive Director of Workforce Development for Front Range Community College, and we are the related learning partner for the Sector Partnership Arborist Apprenticeship. And I hopped on just as you were all getting ready to do the apprenticeship, and was a little bit involved in starting to help start the Colorado Tree Care Sector Partnership. So, and I'm going to pass it on to another teacher that we have, Dave Sexton. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Dave Sexton. I work for the City of Fort Collins Forestry Division. I've been teaching at Front Range Arboriculture for a number of years, and got invited to come teach some of the classes for the apprentices. And I'll call him Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Emden. I'm with the Associated Landscape Contractors of Colorado. Our organization has a lot of workforce development initiatives, and we were one of the organizations that kind of started talking about arborist apprenticeships. And so I've been involved in this group for a while. My predecessor, Becky Garber, was one of the folks that kind of started these discussions. So happy to help support the group however we can. And I'm going to go ahead and call on, sorry, I got to scroll down through my list here. Randy.
Hi, I'm Randy Grady. I work for Treetop Plant Health Management in Wellington doing human resources. And we have one apprentice in the second year of the apprenticeship program. And how about Catherine?
Hey everybody, I'm Catherine Scully. I am the Assistant Director of Academic Services at Front Range Community College. And I am really here to support all of you, but specifically support Lynn Vossler in helping her to move the courses that she teach on the non-credit side to 4-credit courses on the credit side of our college. So glad to be here. And I am going to choose Raymond.
Cool. And Ray might, oh, there he is, yeah.
I'm Raymond Pacheco, owner-operator Riverdale Tree Services in Brighton, Colorado, and I'm just happy to offer some insight when and where it comes to me.
Great, and I will offer to help Raymond since I know he's driving, pass the baton for him, because I imagine it's harder to see who's still on the list there. We'll pass from Raymond over to Nicole.
Hello, my name is Nicole Kim, and I am actually the Campus Relations Program Manager with City and County of Denver. And I am here today because I got a little bit of extra time to kind of check in and just learn a little bit more about this. I previously, prior to the pandemic, had an employee who has a forestry arborist background, and so he had kind of embarked on learning about you guys and understanding it a little further. And so that's why I'm here today, just to kind of learn a little more and see how that potentially could be helpful on both sides. So thank you. And I am having a hard time seeing the large view too. Unfortunately, I don't know why. So I don't know who else. Oh, there, it finally happened. I think maybe Teddy hasn't been called on yet. So I will call on Teddy.
And Teddy, if you're able to unmute yourself and share an introduction. If not, we'll skip to Michael. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. My name is Mike Nays. I guess everybody can see that. I'm on the board of the Park People, and we're currently doing Denver Digs Trees. So anybody who might know the staff, they're kind of swamped. So I'm the bug on the wall, filling in for the important people. As a side note, I guess it's somewhat relevant. I'm also own DLC Arbor. So thanks for having me. I'll call on Dr. Jim Klett, who I'm sure doesn't remember me.
And Jim, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jim Klett from Colorado State University, and I haven't been able to attend since I generally teach at this time, but now we're virtual. So I'm just trying to get caught up on the activities of the partnership.
Great, and just to help along, because I know some of you have joined here at the end, Tammy, if you'd like to do an introduction, and then we'll let Anna say hello as well.
I didn't realize my little button was off. So I'm Tammy. I work with Save a Tree, and I also work, you probably talked to Kelly Gouge as well in this group. So I work with Kelly, and we're pretty excited to be working with the Tree Care Partnership, and we do have an active apprenticeship program currently.
Great, and finally, we'll say hello to Anna. Oh, it looks like she may have dropped off.
I'm here.
Yeah. Great, thanks, Anna.
Yeah, I work with Treetop. You've seen Randy probably more often than you've seen me, but I've been to a few meetings since it started. And we have an active apprenticeship currently.
Great, thank you. I think we caught everybody, so thank you again for taking time. We really do feel that the introductions are important, so you all continue to develop those relationships and understand who makes up this group, and learn to find who the people are you can connect with when things are needed in all things partnership. So Nikki, I'd love for you to put the agenda back up, and I'm going to ask for kind of a quirky favor. We're going to take a photo in celebration of Earth Day, and I'd love for everybody to kind of do some sort of excited, fun pose if you can, and then we can post this and share it. I also wanted to just run through 2 Zoom things with you. A reminder to keep yourself muted while you're not speaking. That helps with background noise. And then while we have an agenda on the screen, I wanted to share with you all that there is a little double white line in the middle on the right side of that agenda. You can pick that up with your mouse and scroll it to the left, and that will allow more of the images of those of us in the meeting to be shown on your screen. So if you like to see more faces and a smaller agenda, you can kind of toggle that back and forth to see more people in the room. But we will show the agenda just to keep us on track, but we'll pull it off as we discuss so we can see faces and reactions. That helps. So we're going to do just a quick little photo, a little old-fashioned with my camera. If everybody can be Earth Day excited. Thank you, thank you. So we've got a few more joining, it looks like. We'll move through our agenda, and we want to keep things going. Again, we want to be respectful and get everyone off by 10:30. Jim, I know you had a little update for the group on the Denver Public Schools CTE collaboration. So Jim, we'll turn it over to you to share those with the group.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's going to be a brief update, and I'll just tell you why. The Denver Public Schools, I think, reached out to the sector partnership with Kate, and they're interested in developing high school programs for urban forestry and arboriculture in Denver public schools. I am in contact with Alex Saban, who is the person, I guess, who's setting that up. I've given them a number of different contacts around the country of cities that have arboriculture programs in their high schools. And at this point in time, he hasn't got back to me. So we're trying to set up the next meeting to talk about that. So I think to me, it's a tremendous thing. Tammy, you may have contacts from the Save a Tree group, because I know that I'm sure they're probably recruiting from those high schools out east.
Yep.
So what we'll do, we also have put Alex in contact with Wisconsin. Wisconsin's getting ready to launch a high school program as well. And so we just want to support them as best we can. I think this is a huge opportunity for us. And from my perspective, the one thing we want this will help us do is get the profession recognized as skilled labor in front of the high school counselors, because they're the ones that are going to help us with the recruiting. At this point, at this point in time, I've been around ISA since, believe it or not, I think I went to the first ISA conference as a child in 1965. So I've been around a while, and I've seen how from 1965 until 2017, arboriculture was not considered skilled labor. So that's where we're at. We've made a huge leap forward, but we still need to let other people, other than the federal government, know that we're skilled labor. I think this is a very good first step. So I will be reaching out for volunteers that may want, I think once we get something together, we'd like to develop a little, maybe some type of information packet. Maybe I reach out to people like Tammy and things like that, and possibly have worked with these high schools before. And I'm willing to go out and start recruiting and talking to some of these different high school counselors to get them up to speed on what's going on. And I would encourage you all to do the same, because I really think that that's going to help push more and more, not push, but direct more and more children into, or young adults into these programs at high school as well as community college levels. Any questions?
Jim, thank you so much for your work on this. Keep Nikki and I posted, as well as Josh, of course, and let us know how we can support you as you learn more about this opportunity and need partnership, engagement, and support. We're excited to learn about those developments. So thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll move through the agenda. Josh, I think you had a few brief comments on Americorps updates.
Sure, and I can hit those really quickly. I don't have a lot of update there. I just wanted to appreciate Kat and Raymond and Holly, who's also from the Americorps, for getting on that call. And what it sounds like our current reality is that we have an opportunity as an industry segment to engage with their Americorps program participants and raise awareness about our field and our opportunities. And that might look like either going out to one of their job sites, showing them what arborists do, or inviting their participants to one of our job sites. So it's something where we will need some participation from sector partnership members, the industry members. If you're up north, because they're in Weld County, and you'd like to participate, we'd love to have just a core group of people that can be focused on that connection with Americorps. So I think that's kind of an ask. As we move forward with the sector partnership and developing a leadership committee and some other committees that can work on these things, hopefully we'll be able to lock that in terms of a scheduled action item. So that's my update on Americorps. I don't have a lot else. But I did want to circle back to what Jim was saying. And I guess maybe, I don't know, I should stop there probably and ask if anybody has any questions or anything to add, or if they wanted to raise their hand about being interested in helping out with that relationship. Anna, I see your hand up there. Or was that just a wave? Kat, Tammy. All right, cool.
I would help
Well,
out too, Josh.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I would help out too.
Cool. Excellent. Well, we would gladly welcome everyone's help with that. So I think the next step might be to get everybody that is interested in participating on maybe a separate working call, just to see if we can get something scheduled, and then come up with just a format that would allow us to take advantage of that existing opportunity, if that sounds good. Maybe Nikki or Amanda, if you could make a note. Oh, Nikki's got something in the chat there. Please place your name in the chat if you are able to, if you're interested in helping out with that. That would be great. And then I appreciate everybody's interest with that. And I think that's a great way to keep making these connections, which is what we want to do for, really solving the workforce issues, which is what we're up to here. And I did want to share, circling back to Jim's comments or his work with the high school side. Last week, I had the opportunity, Corey Lofi, who was on this call a couple of weeks ago, he runs a podcast called Discovering Forestry. And he invited me on to talk about the work we're doing with apprenticeship. And so that was fun. I'm a total novice and absolute beginner at podcasts. So I think I talked more embarrassingly about myself than apprenticeship, but we did get some good stories in on apprenticeship. But one of the anecdotes that came out of this podcast is one of the hosts, Joe, mentioned they had a Forestry 101 program that they put on in Michigan, where they were hoping to show people about jobs within the forest industry. And, hopefully high school students or other people that would be interested would attend this. And he shared that, they had like maybe one person attend, that it was sort of this kind of like this, it fell flat. And to me, that really highlighted this, idea of this funnel, right? And the concept of where are we starting to have these connections with people that are aligned with what we do, working with trees and working outside. And that really, to me, is that what Jim's talking about is that high school conversation. Because if we're starting to connect the dots for those people early on, and they know they have that interest, when they hear about, Forestry 101 or Arborist Skills Day or whatever it is, we've got this population of people that are already aware. So I just wanted to reiterate how I think for the work we're doing, which, rubber meets the road, is really hiring and recruiting and finding homes for employees. That also has to start a little bit earlier. So just wanted to kind of share that perspective. And if anybody has anything they'd like to comment or share, just kind of open it up for discussion.
Josh, I wonder, and Kat, you may speak to this, but I wonder if this is an opportunity for pre-apprenticeship. So a pre-apprenticeship is kind of that first step. And maybe we put something together, because we also, and we're going to talk further on in the agenda, we have 40 people who have come in through the Arborist Apprenticeship website who are interested, right? So there's a lot of interested folks out there. And we have a student who came in through Americorps but didn't quite have the skills necessary for the apprenticeship. So maybe this pre-apprenticeship might be an opportunity. So Kat, I don't know if you have anything, and with the dollars that are just flowing right now towards apprenticeship, we could use some of those dollars to help put something together around pre-apprenticeship.
Cool.
Absolutely. That's why I joined. That's why that's one of the lenses I can bring to that work group, as well as I have some state connections to CTE partners. So in that work group, we can definitely cover that. And I do just want to clarify, while there is a lot of money flowing right now, none of it has yet been assigned. So I just want to be clear, like, I don't want to promise anything. Don't see dollar signs coming out of my pockets yet. As I have more information, I can share that. But just as a short version, that is exactly why I'd love to be a part of that committee, to see how we can take what is existing and then create that pre-apprenticeship opportunity. Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, and Lynn, your points there, I think, are a great segue to our next topic on the agenda, right?
Yeah, we were hoping to just kind of run through process of working with both interested apprentices and then also the businesses that are interested in sponsoring and hosting apprenticeships. I know Nikki has been working a lot on processes with both Lynn and Josh. We wanted to chat through those. And then second, I want to have a discussion with you all regarding this new role of being an Arborist Ambassador. So kind of available for one-on-one peer conversations with people who are interested in. So Nikki and Josh, if you guys want to kind of talk through process, and Lynn, please jump in as well here. I know Lynn is working on the Front Range side for creating some of those tools and resources as well.
Yeah, I can speak to just globally to start with, and just to give some context as well as, so we exist, we're a sector partnership, and we are really, this vehicle for moving the apprenticeship program forward, along with Front Range Community College, who's hosting the related learning, and also workforce as well in the state. And so what happens is people get interested or they hear about it, and then they want more information and they need more information. And so people come in through the Front Range Community College website. They might come in through the sector partnership website, even though it's probably not quite where we need it to be yet. They might come in through workforce. And what we're recognizing is this need for a clear process to funnel those people through so that they get communicated with right away, that we get them some information right away so that they understand what it is they're even checking out, and we've talked about how do we want to do that. And one way is through the Front Range website. Another way is to make sure they get the link to outsidecareers.org. Another way is to actually talk to a human that's an arborist. And so, and then, the other way is that we also have to think about is connecting those interested parties with an employer, and then also potentially with workforce, making sure that, if they do talk to an employer and they are interested in apprenticeship, that they also make a call to their workforce center to follow that process. So there's a lot of points that we kind of need to hit, and it could be really soupy and murky. And so what we realize is we need this kind of clear process to funnel people through. And so that's what this topic is about, is what does that process need to be? And then in discussion with that human component, of communication, from my perspective, what I realize is it's really valuable if you can have someone that's willing to share their personal story, their experience professionally within the industry, to talk to someone, to give them context, to help them see what the possibilities are. Like, that's a great way to qualify someone. Either like, oh no, that's not for me, I don't want to work outside, sorry. Or they're like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. So we had this idea of Arborist Ambassadors, which would be people that maybe we just, sort of have a list of professionals that are willing to pick up the phone and answer a call from somebody that's interested in our industry. And I firmly believe that almost everyone in our industry would be willing to do that on some level. So I thought that would provide a resource for this process, right? Like if you reply to someone that's interested and say, hey, check out this website, about Arborist careers, check out the apprenticeship program, and here's some employers in your area that you could call. And then here's someone that is willing to be an Arborist ambassador that you could just talk to them about what it's like to work in the industry. And the other hope here with this call for Arborist ambassadors is to get more engagement from the industry within our sector partnership, right? So like saying, hey, this is something you could do that we'd really value and appreciate, and that would help get more engagement, because that's what we see here. This is an industry-led partnership, and probably one of our big hurdles is getting people that are actively working day to day in the industry to these meetings, and to participate. So that's it in a nutshell. Nikki, I don't know if you wanted to add anything more. If anybody had any thoughts or ideas or questions out of me sharing that information.
I think the only thing I'd add is kind of combining the fact that they can come from different places. We have decided that the most informed, like when I respond to people who go to the email, no matter what, if they're interested in the apprenticeship, we do have them go to Front Range so they can get on that interest form to be communicated very specific details about signing up for the apprenticeship. So just to confirm that we want everybody to be on that list. And that list is something that we will share with tree care employers who are interested in hosting an apprentice, that you can look at the list and say, oh, this person lives in Denver and they submitted their interest form a month ago. Hey, I need one. Let me reach out to them. And you can actually, instead of just waiting to receive a call or an email with an interest, you can proactively look at that list and contact people. So just to confirm, it's coming from a couple different places, but Front Range is going to have that final communication with people who are interested in the apprenticeship. And then Amanda and I will handle communicating with people who are more gathering information. And that ends up being a lot of the high school age folks that are just exploring and wanting to ask questions. So we'll kind of be that filter of what goes where and to whom. But we think that process will really help prompt reply and just giving them their options and informing them of the steps for the process. Lynn, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd be interested from the employer's point of view on how, what you think works best. So we will certainly, we'd like to respond right away to folks who come in and say they're interested. We want to do just what Josh said. We'll send them to the link about outdoor careers and tell them about the apprenticeship. And then we'll send them to the Tree Care Sector Partnership website that will list all of the companies who have registered apprenticeships, which means that they may contact you then if they're interested in being an apprentice. But then we're also keeping their list, keeping their names on the list, like Nikki said, so you can use that list. Is that helpful? And is that too intrusive? Does that work for you as employers? Tammy, I'd be interested. Yep. There you go.
I was going to say, I was trying to get myself off mute. I'm like, what button do I press? So yes, that would be of interest. And I would absolutely like to talk to anybody at any point in time. I'm not the arborist professional, like Josh says. I can't talk about climbing trees and have that particular passion, but I can certainly talk about it from a career perspective and get somebody connected. We have a number of arborists that would be glad to talk with people and share information about the industry.
And just one
Go ahead, Lynn.
I'm sorry, is that I would love to see if we do come into some funding down the road, some videos, because I think seeing people up in trees is really an important part of understanding what you're going to be doing as an arborist. And then all of our instructors are so fun and great. And I would love to have some videos on our websites as well from the instructors that talk about what they do for a living. So.
Yep, we can come up with some for you for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Lynn, if you asked Keith to put together a little video, I bet you he would, from his pruning climbing classes, I'm sure he'd be stoked to get something up there like that as well. Yeah.
Nikki, did you want to mention the survey you are going to be sending as well?
Sure. Josh, did you want me to bring that up to just show it to make sure that it's?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great. I think what we want to do is we want engagement, to increase engagement and also to gather some baseline data. So Nikki has put together some surveys that we can send out to our sector partnership email list. And the idea there is to get find out which companies would like to know more about apprenticeship, who's going to be able to sponsor an apprentice this coming year. So I'll let Nikki kind of go over that. But we're open to looking for feedback on this, see what people think, see what your ideas are.
Okay, does everyone see that? The employer apprentice, okay. So they will be a Google form. So it'll be a website that you visit, and it'll be a very quick survey response. But what we're hoping is to just, in a few questions, collect as much information as we can, just again, as we are learning and taking all the information in. So there are 2 different surveys. So this one that I'm showing right now is the employer apprentice sign up. And we'd love every organization to fill this out, even if you're not interested in hosting an apprentice this year, because we'd like to know past information as well. And then of course, see if there's anything that we can do to help provide information. So the top would be the organization name, and then this is really the important information gathering. We'd love to know if you are currently hosting in apprentices from cohort 1, cohort 2, if you'd be interested in hosting future apprentices, apprentices. And if you, this one's important if you currently know that you are a registered apprenticeship, because that is necessary to host an apprentice, to have that be a registered one. And if you don't know, you can collect this or select that one. And I think we added one more. There we go. We'd like more information. So if that's the stage that you're at, absolutely, let's dive in. We'll get more information. We know there are a lot of details and a lot of important things before you make a decision like this. So we want to be able to give you all the pieces of information that you need. And then this is an important thing. So we talked about having a list available of interested apprentices, a list that you can access. And in reverse, we will also be hosting a list that is accessible and will be sent from Front Range. So the only way somebody would necessarily get that is by going to our website or being linked from the Front Range Arborist Apprenticeship website. They would be linked to this list of registered apprentice employer hosts and be able to reach out to them based on location. So this question is important because we want to know what information you want us to post. If you don't want it to be your, Nikki at, you want it to be your info, or you don't want it to be your cell phone, you want it to be the office line, whatever that is, we are totally comfortable and fine. Just please let us know, because it will be posted for them to be able to contact you. And then if we have missed something, you want to add some more details, you want to share that you have 2 apprentices in cohort 1 and 3 in cohort 2, any of that, that's this kind of catch-all at the bottom. Is there anything missing from this particular survey as we are gathering some kind of necessary information to move forward regarding?
Hey, Nikki, it's Kat.
Yeah.
So something that we're having to use when we're looking at, we provide statewide support, but is you might want to somehow include a geographic or a service area so that, and I just didn't see it on here. Is that on another one? Sorry. But just so the apprentice or student seeker, job seeker, that might help them in determining, who they might want to reach out to.
Great. Easy peasy. Service area that you cover, is that? Great feedback. Any other pieces? Oh, that's interesting.
I know the term service area is clear to employers.
Okay.
We use it all the time, but maybe it's region or county or.
Okay.
Kat, what information do you guys need? County?
It's not really about, it's, Lynn, you have the right perspective there. It's how is the job seeker going to look at this? And so I don't know if it needs to be counties but I think the language would be like work performed or service area, and I'm processing here as we're saying it, but yeah, area where the work is performed, like that describing what a service area means. I'm open to other ideas, but you make a really good point there, Lynn, that might not be normal language.
I would defer to the business folks. What term would you use there to get at the area you work in?
Yeah, I think just the, area or region served, is probably fine. Like, I think Save a Tree, you'd probably say, the Front Range of Colorado from, Colorado Springs up to Fort Collins, right? Like that.
Yeah, all the way down. Mm-hmm.
So I think, because this is going out to people on the, that are on the email list. And so hopefully this is going to be answered by the companies, really. That's the intent of this survey. So, I would say like Boulder County, and maybe, Randy, you guys might say, I don't know, Weld, Larimer, or, I'm not sure, but at least kind of just give people an idea.
Does that sound good then? We'll put as this, and if as you're taking it, you want me to amend, we can certainly update. So that's kind of why we're going through this process. So, okay, I will post the link to this in the chat. And again, we will be emailing this out. Let's make sure that's cool. That's nicer.
You guys are getting the real behind the scenes.
Sorry, I'm trying to confuse.
Okay, it's great. Good efficiency.
Okay, so then the other one again is the, is that okay to talk about the Arborist one now? Arborist Ambassador?
Yeah, perfect. That's great.
Nikki and Lynn, I've sent Nikki a couple of links to careers and arboriculture videos that are available from the trade associations and professional associations. If you want to look at those and see if those are something that can be useful, both ISA and TCIA have put some things together. And I believe I saw another one just now from a group up in Canada. That's a pretty good one on careers in arboriculture and urban forestry for women. So there's a couple of things out there. If you have any questions, then feel free to reach out to me, because I can do some Googling and find you multiple things that are already developed. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That would be helpful. Okay, so this next one again is just interest in becoming an Arborist Ambassador, and it's sporadic when we get these requests. We have a couple that are, currently high schoolers who are just more in that wanting to ask questions, and we imagine it's kind of that style of exploration where if they were going to a career fair, they'd walk up to this booth and be able to talk to somebody and ask all these questions. So we don't imagine it being longer than, a 30-minute to an hour conversation at any given time. It wouldn't be, I don't know that we'd say, have them to a job site necessarily at this point, but it is the hope that it's a conversation to ask questions. And maybe it could be a Zoom, so you can, turn them around and show them, that you're in the tree and stuff. But we don't know what it will look like, but because every person seems to want something different. But I think generally it's sharing some of those behind the scenes details about what it's like to be an arborist. So very generally, we would ask for your name, your organization, email, phone number, where in Colorado you were located, and then your preferred contact method. And that basically means, like, do you want somebody to just call you at any given time? Would you prefer that they email and set up a specific time? We kind of just want to know that. So is there anything else that you, if you were wanting to be added to this list, that we should know and ask for in this survey?
The only thing that I had is just maybe a specific example of what we're asking you to agree to as an ambassador, which is just saying, hey, we're asking you to, respond with a 30-minute to an hour-long phone call with somebody that's interested in, potentially getting into the field, something like that, just a specific so that they know what they're agreeing to.
And we can provide some additional narrative when this link is sent to the full partnership list. So we appreciate you all kind of being our test to see if this works and makes sense. But again, we can go into more detail in the intro email that the link is included in. And Nikki's going to post the link in the chat. So if you're ready to sign up today to be an Arborist Ambassador, we would love that. And then watch for an email with more information as well. So thanks for going through all that, Nikki. And again, thank you all for kind of being our test audience to see those and help us edit them and make them live and ready. I want to power through the remaining parts of our agenda. We've got about 13 minutes of your time and wanted to chat. Thank you, Nikki, for pulling up the agenda. There were a few updates on a grant opportunity that Josh wanted to share, and I know Lynn might have some input. And then we've got a few other points to hit on. So we'll move through these final agenda items pretty quickly.
Yeah, I just wanted to share this. Lynn, thank you for bringing this to our attention and really for writing the leading up to the grant proposal. It sounds like there is some grant opportunities for it's expansion, equity, and inclusion grant, basically through the state, I think, and means that what are we willing to do? Are we willing to promote our industry to more peoples out there that are underrepresented? And so I just made the call that this sounds like what we want to do anyway, which is connect more people with our industry through expansion, equity, and inclusion. And so we've written Lynn's written it, and I've agreed to sign off on it. Just kind of wanted to put it out there, see if anybody had any objections. Basically, if we get it, we would get some additional funding to support some of these programs, to speak out to people that maybe aren't already being addressed in our workforce. So didn't know if anybody had any objections. Just kind of feel like it's a good thing to do. If we get the money, great. We can utilize that within our strategic actions or our strategic plan.
So I'll just jump in and say what they're asking for is a statement from us saying that we will support diversity, equity, and inclusion in our program. And the college already has that statement as well. So we're already doing that with the apprenticeship program. But then it's asking us to commit to numbers of folks if applicable. So I would say at this point, it would be hard for us to commit to those numbers in our apprenticeship program because our numbers are pretty small to start. And we're struggling to just make sure we have enough in our cohort. So I wouldn't commit at this point to diverse populations being in if that's just my suggestion. But I would go ahead and commit to maybe a baseline of, we know we're going to need maybe at least 7 in our cohort for the next 2 or 3 years. So commit to that. And that's pretty much, I think, the end of the commitment request. But if that sounds okay to everybody.
Maybe if we can just get everyone to do kind of a thumbs up, if that feels like a good, yeah.
That sound all right? Okay.
Great. So we will be working on getting that submitted to the state, and we'll definitely keep you all posted on any award that might be given through that grant. And then, as Josh mentioned, we can have that be an item that we look at this fall in our strategic planning of how we'll incorporate that into partnership work moving forward. And Josh, I know there was a quick update following a phone call that happened with a number of partnership members regarding the Denver Metro Urban Forestry Workforce Expansion Project. That one's a mouthful.
Yeah, and I'll just speak to that real briefly because we have a couple more items. And Anna, I saw your comment there in the chat, so we definitely want to hit all of these. Just wanted to give an update. We had a phone call. Jim, thanks for being on that. Bridget Orrick with Davey was also represented. And it sounds like there's a large, urban forestry workforce initiative proposal that's being worked on. And basically this would look like some federal funding is what they're going for to support a really expansive pre-apprenticeship program that leads into actual green careers. It's also lined up with like some massive tree planting campaigns and tree maintenance campaigns. So we had a discussion with these folks. They're still gathering information so that they can help to put those details into a proposal that then is going to go to the federal level to ask for some pretty big money to support workforce within the green industry. And so they really wanted to know, hey, what are we doing with apprenticeship? What's in place now? What are the pre-apprenticeship programs that are out there? And it sounds like too, like I think there's some Michael, you were here from Parks people, that there's a lot of there's a lot of energy behind pre-apprenticeship programs now. So we just gave them the information we could. We said we'd love to hear more as things progress, and just kind of want to keep them, as someone we're in communication with as they move forward. I think Ken Karen out of City of Boulder's working on it, and there's a consultant, Amy. I've put them in touch with TCIA as well. So just wanted to give an update there. I think if you are interested in more information and being involved in this, please reach out to Amanda or Nikki, and we can make sure to include you as those communications keep moving forward.
Great, and I'll hit quickly on the last few agenda items, and then Anna will definitely take a minute to ask your question, and then we can include that for deeper discussion next month. A few things we just wanted to share with you all. We will be working with Josh to build a leadership team for the partnership, and that will help with all sorts of partnership kind of behind the scenes things that will be happening and support the work that Josh is doing to keep all the projects moving forward. And so we are working right now on drafting a kind of expectation and the role for those people. And our goal is to have that partnership or leadership team in place by May. And so if you're interested, or we've got a few people who've shown interest in the past in being involved, we'll be reaching out to you. The hope is that that team would meet about 10 days prior to this meeting, just as a monthly touch point. Again, doing kind of the behind the scenes work for keeping all things with the partnership moving forward. Any other quick comments on that, Josh?
No, I just would give some context that in the last few years or couple years, traditionally in the spring, we would come in and do a strategic planning meeting, and a lot of the people that, were involved with those meetings, we look to for, we've looked to and appreciated their support in terms of leadership. This year, what we'd like to do is do that strategic planning meeting in the fall. So we're just hoping to get a little more of leadership structure in place for the partnership. And so, everybody that's been active here, we'd love to see you participate or be willing to participate in the leadership committee.
And then you'll see on your agenda, we are committed to hosting these partnership meetings once a month. We will continue that through the summer season. We know that is a busier time in your industry. The hope is to have those meetings consistent so that you can plug in if you're available, but we will be recording them. So if you're not able to attend because of a heavy work week or conflict in your schedule, these meetings will be available through the partnership resources to kind of stay up to date on all things going on with the partnership. So we will continue our monthly meetings. May 27th is posted on your agenda as the next meeting. So keep that on your calendar and know that we'll be consistent with those 4th Thursday meetings every month. I want to take a moment to answer Anna's question, but I also want to warn you that I want to take a second Happy Earth Day photo. I made another image that's a little bit nicer than our agenda that I'm going to pull up on the screen. But Anna, if you want to ask your question, and then we can take our photo before we say goodbye for the day.
Or maybe since you just mentioned it, take our photo first.
Oh, sure. That'd be great. Yeah, but then we'll get everybody back on here. And Nikki, do you have where you can do a screenshot, or is my camera the best?
I can take a screenshot.
Okay, so Nikki will let you set up your screen for optimal viewing of all of this on the call. If everybody can do another Happy Earth Day pose, and we will share this with the partnership.
Okay, one more, sorry.
Okay, one more, everyone.
All right.
Yay.
Happy Earth Day. I got my aunt here.
Yeah. Cool, Jim. Thanks. Thank you, Nikki, for capturing that. Okay, so back to final business. And we understand if you have to hop off the call, Anna had dropped a question in chat. Again, we will bring this forward again in May, but I think she was interested in hearing if the program is working or not working as small business. But Anna, if you have any additional details to your question, go ahead.
Well, so it's not as much a question as just kind of giving some feedback and trying to have some discussion around things that could be challenging for small businesses, particularly. We're really excited to support the apprenticeship. We feel like it's a really great thing to be able to build up the workforce in the tree care industry, and we are happy to be part of that. Some challenges that we've run into is that originally we were talking about dates that were in the winter when the work was slow and it was easier to send our employees away, and these dates have been pushed into March and April, and it becomes increasingly challenging for us to part with our team members. We need everybody on the team right now. The other thing is that if there are really strict, the school has really strict restrictions about any possibility if somebody has COVID. And recently we had not an exposure with our apprentice, but an exposure in our company. And so he felt that it would be better not to attend the apprenticeship, but that made it, he missed out on those classes. And if there was some way, because of COVID, that there could be a virtual learning or something similar so that he wouldn't have to miss out on those things for that reason. And then there are lots of things that it seems like it's easier, or, you know, the cohort has been reduced in half, the first cohort, and it actually feels more like we might be the only small business that's still participating. And it seems to work well for municipalities or larger businesses that we don't want them to carry this partnership. We want to be able to support it and provide our apprenticeships, but we ask that there be some consideration how it affects us, how different decisions affect small businesses, and moving forward, make it more friendly and possible for us to continue sending apprenticeships through our company.
So, Josh, do you mind if I?
Well, I just wanted to really appreciate you, Anna, for coming and voicing those concerns and your realities, because the sector partnership exists to support industry. So it's industry led. So your realities and our realities as small businesses need to be at the forefront of that. And so what I heard from you is that, hey, the timing of these classes is really painful. and it wasn't what we intended originally, but what you're experiencing is like you're losing an employee to related learning when you need them the most. And I also heard that, the realities of managing COVID with the in-person learning, your employee experienced the loss of related learning. And so those are two like really, great things to hear, and also sound really painful from your perspective. Like you've invested in this and you want to see a return on that investment. So it's important that we hear those. And when I know for me, when I hear them, it reminds me of like where these gaps are currently, right? So like this is not in its end phase, right? Like we haven't, we're climbing the mountain with apprenticeship, right? So the more we hear about the as lived experience of the small businesses, the more opportunity we have to improve it, and so some of those topics, like how do you make related learning align with how we run our businesses, right? Like there's plenty of downtime in our businesses when we can't work, and it's a frustration. And so like being able to work with that within the reality of running a tree care company to say, oh, we've got a down day. Here you go, apprentice. There's 20 inches of snow out there. Hop into a virtual classroom and work on your related learning. Like that would be absolutely ideal. And we know that some of those skills you can't do remotely, but some you can. And so I think the vision is that, you would say, wow, this apprenticeship is modeled so that it helps, it's smooth and easy. And that's where we want to get to, but we're not there right now. And so I definitely hear those pain points, and I would hate to lose your leadership and your participation, in the program because we're not able to address those points. So I just want to speak to that.
Yeah, and I would just hop on and say, Josh and I have had these discussions, and I so appreciate your comments. I know we went back and forth, and we struggled too because, we have people in trees, and we just can't have them in trees when we have snowstorms. So we have to put snow days at the end of our semester or our set of learning, because we've ended up with several snow days this year. But Josh is right. We are going to have a debrief with all of the instructors here in a couple of weeks to go through what worked, what didn't work. But I would like to do that with employers as well, and bring employers into that discussion, Josh, so we can start to look at, because the beautiful thing is we did build this as non-credit. So we are not tied to having to meet a semester need. So, we need 145 contact hours of related learning. So we can be really creative about that. I think there's a lot of places we can go to make it easier, because you're absolutely right. The majority of the companies in this business are small. So we need to make sure it works for a small business.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, I think that's a great discussion. I think that we have some action steps to further that, and would love to invite you in, Anna, or maybe it's Randy, to help us shape that moving forward in our meetings. And just want to, we're a little bit over, we're about 4 minutes over. So just want to appreciate everyone's attendance and participation, and would encourage you that if you have any ideas or thoughts or questions that came out of this meeting, to please share them with either Amanda or Nikki via email, so that we can capture those, and then we can circle back to those and get them on next month's agenda. So with that, I think we're ready to sign off. Thank you, everybody. Once again, happy Earth